But this is exciting for me because I'm in a wheelchair and I would love to have me some superhuman powers, bring back some of my nerves. First human patient to receive a Neuralink brain implant used it to stay up all night playing Civ 6. Gamer after my own heart. Yeah, I mean, what else is he supposed to do? Like, there's nothing. You think he's going to get up and run? Like, obviously, you're going to go rock some video games. I'd imagine this guy, I think, is quadriplegic, and I'd imagine the amount of freedom he first received is just like, I mean, imagine seeing for years his whole, however long he's been disabled, not being able to join in, seeing these games. Like, if you were paralyzed and wanted to play football, like, imagine all of a sudden you could walk. That would be a complete world changing experience. It's like being blind and getting your vision back. It's like, holy shit, this is a completely different world. It's so much extra ability. And he's not completely back to normal. I mean,
All right, we should be streaming live here. Hello, world. How's it going out there? My name is Bliss, and I'm an engineer at Neuralink. And I'd like to introduce you to the first ever user of the Neuralink device. And I think you're my only telekinetic friend that I have.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, not many more of those out there. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Nolan Arbaugh. I'm 29 years old. About 8 years ago, I was in kind of a freak diving accident and dislocated my C4, C5. So I'm a complete quadriplegic. So I'm paralyzed from below the shoulders. I have no sensation or movement below my level of injury, so below my shoulders. Yeah, that about covers it, right?
Do you want to introduce some of your dogs here? Let me flip
Yeah,
the camera so you guys
absolutely.
can see. We got dogs all over the place.
Yeah, that's my
oh,
man.
cute little
My
doggies.
Gracie.
Gracie, come here.
Hi, Grace.
How's it going, Gracie? Yeah.
I'd imagine those are helper dogs
All
too,
right.
probably trained dogs.
Yeah, they're just here for the dogs. All right, yeah. So while he's been introducing himself, let me just flip the camera on so you can see what Nolan's been doing.
Yeah.
Let me come over here. Do you want to explain a little bit what's going on here?
Yeah. So I love playing chess, and so this is one of the things that y'all have enabled me to do.
Yeah, see, before he probably got the Neuralink put in, he probably used this straw here with his mouth to control his wheelchair, control his computer maybe. He probably had like a camera set up to track his eyes so that he could control the computer and see what to click on and stuff like that. He probably like would blink or something like that to control the computer. But now with Neuralink, he can just think in the chip will read those inputs, and he'll be able to control anything electronic through his mind. Maybe even his wheelchair, he could just think, go forward. And that is amazing. That is life altering right there. The quality of life is going to be so infinitely more improved because he can do it without having the limit of the little straw he has to blow into to do things. And eventually, the Neuralink will be able to connect around the broken parts of his spine so that his brain can access the part of his spine that is still intact and circumvent the damaged portion of his spine. So eventually, one day, with the right tech, they can restore his movement to his body, which will take a long road of recovery and rehab, of working the muscles. His muscles are, after 8 years, are completely atrophied. So it's going to take a long time. One thing that people that sit in wheelchairs, their muscles will, when they atrophy, they will draw up, and you can't like extend your limbs all the way. You're basically, drawing up into a seated position permanently. And so he's going to have, oftentimes you have a helper when you're paraplegic or quadriplegic. You have physical therapy still, even though you can't move anything, to keep the muscles moving, to keep the blood flow, because also to move around. Because if you sit in one position, you can get really bad ulcers, wounds on your butt and your legs and stuff like that. Um, and even just like a little bit of moving is enough to um, stop pressure ulcers from happening.
I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like this. I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. If y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen, that's all me, y'all. It's pretty cool, huh?
Actually, can you pause the song just for the
Yeah,
audio
absolutely.
coming through?
There we go.
And that was also done with your brain.
Yep, it's all brain power up there.
Can you explain a little bit just to people who maybe don't have any context on this field or what's going on here?
Yeah.
How are you able to actually move the cursor?
Yeah, so we started out with trying out a few different things. We basically went from what we call kind of differentiating like imagined movement versus attempted movement. So a lot of what we started out with was attempting to move. So I would attempt to move, say, my right hand, left, right, forward, back to move. And from there, I think it just became intuitive for me to start imagining the cursor moving. Basically, it was like using the force on a cursor, and I could get it to move wherever I wanted. Just stare somewhere in the screen, and it would move where I wanted it to, which was such a wild experience.
This guy wants to know if you feel like a wizard.
Yeah, right.
I'm a wizard, Harry.
It's crazy. It really is.
Or
It's
you're a
so
wizard,
cool.
Harry. Sorry,
I'm
messing up
so freaking lucky
the
to be
memes.
a part of this and stuff. I mean, every day it seems like we're learning new stuff, and I just can't even describe how cool it is to be able to do this.
Do you want to briefly talk about a little bit, I guess, what have you been using this for outside of these sort of research sessions, or when you're just playing chess? What are some of the things you've been getting value from this from?
Yeah, so one of the first times y'all gave me complete control over this, I actually stayed up until, geez, I don't know, like 6 a.m. playing Civilization 6. Um, it was it was worth it. I guess is the best way to put it. It was awesome. I had basically given up on playing that game just because of how. I mean, it's a big game, and the amount of time that it takes to sit in on it it's just a lot, and I have to worry about a lot of things, getting pressure sores and things like that. So I just wasn't really able to play it as much as I wanted to, and y'all gave me the ability to do that again, and I played it for like 8 hours that day. So I do that. I
It's
read
like, what,
sometimes.
6 p.m. to like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
or something? It's like,
it was a lot.
I'm giving you all my bad habits, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it was awesome. So I did that. I read. I like learning languages. I'm learning like Japanese right now. I'm learning a bit of French.
Maybe for the audience who isn't super familiar with assistive technology, why couldn't you play Civ before? What was tricky about that, or what was it about the Neuralink that made that possible for you?
Yeah, so one of the big things, honestly, was that I think I just got checkmated. The only way I could play it was through pad, and that didn't allow me to play online at all. So that kind of from say my like parents or something to do it, because
I guess that opens up the possibility.
Yeah, the quality of life improvement for this. Like people think like he's still paralyzed though, but being with technology today, having the internet, being able to talk to people, it is still a huge improvement from what he was having before. So I couldn't imagine the amount of excitement, happiness, because he's opened up all new possibilities. Like people, um, it's pretty obvious that being a quadriplegic is really rough. But the one thing that people often forget is the tiny things that are the biggest inconvenience, and clearing up the tiny things is a huge, huge win. I couldn't imagine the happiness that he's feeling. Like even like I'm able to move still. I just have very weak legs, and having any type of improvement, even just marginal, not even effective in day to day, is so uplifting to people in wheelchairs and people with disabilities. But this is a huge game changer. The one thing you do have to address, though, is the brain hacking. I wonder how safe the wireless network will be. And I'm not so sure, because people only think about the bad things. People only think, like with AI, for example, it's only the jobs it's going to take. It's only the potential devastating robot genocide that's going to happen. But people don't really think that AI is going to be the biggest advancement in tools. Somebody stupid like me that has no skills can type into a prompt to make a program. You can get a program that does anything, or any art that you want to do, any media, and the future will be, I want to play right now it sucks, but in the future, when AI gets advanced enough that it can write a video game for you, and will basically, like those materializers in the sci-fi where it brings out food or any item you want and it materializes it in front of you. That's what it's going to be like for data, and I want to play an RPG game with blah 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 and dragons, and then it'll make it for you, and AI, once like quantum computing comes out, the processing power will be huge, and you'll be able to get a game in minutes. And it'll probably switch to, at first, people whose job it will probably take away, which is sad. But it'll probably switch to them being kind of like AI prompt engineers, and that'll be their job as creatives. But I do see in the future universal basic income being the answer, because with technology getting better and better and robotics getting better and better, there will be less of a need to hire people. And I don't think they're going to force people to hire regular people, because I don't see how that can, how you could control people like that. It's kind of sucks. I don't think corporations are people, but a business starting out that runs it, you can't force them to hire people. So you're going to see more and more jobs get lost to technology. Like, same thing when cars were created. Horses, horses were replaced. But eventually all the shit got cleaned up, all the poop out of the street, and less disease and more pollution. But, at least we don't have the plague because of all the crap that's in the street. So looking at the bad version of things, is easy because it's easier. That's the way our brains work. But seeing the good in things is a little harder and a little bit further in the distance.